This is sinew, deer, processed up, and this is not processed. We're just gonna haft our little mahogany, obsidian, and bone cutting tool. You stay. Don't you move. So we have some cedar bark where I went down to the cambium layer. That way they're all together, you see. We'll make our scabbard. I want 5 of them, and I'll fold them in half on each other. Basically what we want to do is just weave a mat out of these. So I have 5 of them. And then I have my basswood inner bark that we reversed wrapped into cordage. And I'm just going to tie this last one just to hold it in place. That way we can start weaving our mat. Basically you're just weaving a simple mat. Go over this piece, under, over this piece, under this piece, over, and then under, and just keep repeating. It's as simple as that, really. Now, because of the natural cordage and all that, it's not going to look, probably not going to look the prettiest, but it is going to be functional. And essentially, that's all that really mattered back in the Stone Age. So we have our mat braided, and basically what we do, I have my little knife up here drying. Now this is still kind of flimsy until this dries. This sinew needs to dry, and then it'll shrink on itself and become hard. But essentially what we do is, knife goes down this way, and the scabbard or the sheath will fold around it. Okay, I'm not going to mess with it too much because I want this. We might have to end up putting some pitch on this to really seal the deal, but that'll make a real nice handle. That old piece of bone. So we'll let that dry. Essentially all we have to do, we'll end up cutting this off. We just have to fold this and then braid the end shut. have to loosen it up to make sure it'll fit. Now, if it ends up, it looks like this side is going to be wider. When I braided this, it kind of pulled tight on me. That's okay. I mean, I can make either end. Either end will be sufficient for the top. To reverse wrap cordage all this, I didn't have to do the cedar bark because, like I said, I took it off on the cambium layer, so it stuck together pretty nicely. Now the basswood inner bark is what I've used here. It takes a while to reverse wrap cordage all this, so you'll be doing that for a while if you want to recreate this. But essentially you can make shoes. You would be able to make shoes out of this. I mean, you could make clothing, all kinds of clothing, anything out of baskets, anything out of this style of weaving, you know. Essentially anything if you, as long as you have enough cordage, you can make anything really in this fashion. So all right, everybody, so we finished our scabbard, finished our little obsidian blade. Works really well, super sharp. Obsidian is one of the most sharpest materials on the planet. It actually has been said that it splits the cells when it cuts. So it's like surgical sharp, or a little more than surgical sharp. So obsidian is nothing to play around with. You can really do some damage or cut anything you need to cut with obsidian. So we let our deer sinew harden, and I mean it becomes rock hard. And it was a little flimsy at first, but now I think it's in there pretty well and fits right into my scabbard. Is a little long. It's a little bit long, but that's okay. I mean, if you need tinder, if you need any other cordage, unwrap a little bit of this, you still have your scabbard and you have your dry tinder and cordage. So a little long doesn't bother me any. It's useful. So I did have a little lanyard around here where I could quick draw this. I have this little belt loop, and it'll hang just fine. Let's see how it cuts. So this is inner basswood bark. Just cut that with no problem. So this will cut you right to the bone, really. And the sinew's holding up perfect. It's great. I can always touch this edge up too, if I need to, and eventually I'll have to change out the blade, but that's okay. The scabbard's a little, or the scabbard is a little, it's a little loose, but hey, it serves its purpose. I'm happy with it. And it didn't take me very long at all. About an hour maybe. A couple hours once I twisted everything up. Try to give this leather a cut here. And it does it with no problem. You can see it's already started there. So with this one tool, I could make a lot of different things. I could cut any material that I wanted, really. Definitely any meat, processed game, or anything with that. Cuts it clean off there with a little pressure. And the blade is staying in really nicely. I'm surprised at how strong that sinew really is. I mean, I've lashed arrows, fletched arrows with it and everything. I know how strong it is, but I've never used it just with wrapping a blade, wrapping a blade. I've always put pine pitch on top of this. Now, I have noticed that a couple of strands are coming loose already at the bottom. That must be from taking it in and out of the scabbard. I might finish this off with pine pitch just so it'll last. And I'll set it on the shelf along with my collection and put it in my primitive kit. So, well, thank you everybody for joining me. Thanks for your views, comments, all of your support, your subscriptions. Check us out, 4 Directions Bushcraft on Amazon. Facebook, join the Facebook 4 Directions Bushcraft group. We have 2,000 people in there now, doing really good on that. And we appreciate you guys. Catch you on the next one. Bye.